Permissions in Linux refer to the access rights that are granted to different users or groups to read, write, or execute a file. These permissions are represented by a set of symbols that indicate the level of access granted to different users or groups. There are three basic types of permissions. Read. This permission allows users to view the contents of a file. Write. This permission allows users to modify or delete a file. Execute. This permission allows users to run a file as a program. In Linux, each file is associated with three types of permissions, represented by the letters R, W, and X, and each of these permissions is applied to three different entities. User, the owner of the file. Group, the group of users that the file belongs to. Others, everyone else who has access to the system. The permissions for a file can be viewed using the lso command, which displays a list of files with their permissions in the leftmost column. The output of this command will show the permissions for the user, group, and others in that order. For example, the following output shows a file with read and write permissions for the user, read-only permissions for the group, and no permissions for others. RWR R 1 user group 100 April 9th 10 o'clock example.txt. In addition to the basic permissions, there are also special permissions that can be applied to files. These include SGID. When a file is set with SGID permission, it runs with the permissions of the file owner instead of the user who executed it. This is often used for programs that require elevated privileges to run. Setgid. When a file is set with SGID permission, it runs with the permissions of the group owner instead of the user who executed it. This is often used for shared directories that require all users in a group to have access to the files. Sticky bit. When a directory is set with the sticky bit, users can only delete files that they own within that directory. This is often used for shared directories to prevent accidental deletion of files. File permissions can be modified using the chmod command. The syntax for chmod is as follows. Chmod. The permissions can be specified using a combination of numbers or letters. For example, to set read, write, and execute permissions for the owner, and read-only permissions for group and others, you can use the following command. Chmod 750 example.txt. This sets the permissions to RWXRX, where the first digit 7 represents the user's permissions, the second digit 5 represents the group's permissions, and the third digit 0 represents the permissions for others. In summary, file permissions in Linux are used to control access to files and directories, and can be modified using the chmod command. Understanding and properly managing file permissions is essential for securing your system and protecting your data.